ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦਿਸ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਆਫ ਦ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਸ਼ੋ। ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਇਸ਼ੂ 'ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਨ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਾਥ ਦੇਣਗੇ ਜੋਏ ਸਮਿਥ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਹਨ ਵਿਨੀਪੈਗ ਤੋਂ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਜੋਏ ਸਮਿਥ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਚਲਾਈ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਦਾ ਮੁੱਖ ਮਕਸਦ ਹੈ ਲੋਕਾਂ 'ਚ ਅਵੇਅਰਨੈਸ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਕਰਨੀ ਕਿ ਹਿਊਮਨ ਟ੍ਰੈਫਿਕਿੰਗ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਬੰਦ ਹੋਵੇ। ਜਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਅਬਿਊਜ਼ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਤੇ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਔਰਤਾਂ ਦਾ, ਉਸ ਪ੍ਰਤੀ ਇਹ ਮੁਹਿੰਮ ਨੂੰ ਚਲਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਔਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਣੇ। ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ।
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. First of all, we would like to know what prompted you to start Joy Smith Foundation.
My son was the RCMP, and he was in something called the Integrated Child Exploitation Unit, formerly known as the ICE unit. And what they did then was they went after predators who lured kids over the internet. I was a teacher at the time of mathematics and science, and what I did was start giving workshops about how to protect your children over the internet.
Right.
Then victims of human trafficking showed up at my workshops, and they started telling me what happened to them.
Right.
So I started giving them food, I started helping them, one thing led to another. I found that our kids were being bought and sold in this country, and I found out that it was virtually modern day slavery in Canada.
That's quite interesting because generally we hear that developing countries, these are the places where such kind of things happen. But when we talk about modern countries or developed countries like Canada as such, how serious is this issue? You know, like is it just a little bit?
Serious.
Yeah.
No, it's very serious. You see, what happened is Canadians were lulled into believing that prostitution was an industry. We're not talking about prostitution.
Right.
If someone is age of majority and they decide to go into prostitution, that's what they can do legally under the Canada's Constitution. I don't advise it.
Right.
It's not very safe. It's a dangerous profession, but it's up to the individual.
Right.
I'm talking about underage kids. The average age of youngsters being trafficked into the sex trade is 12 to 14 years of age in this country.
Wow.
Perpetrators make between $260,000 to $280,000 per victim per year, and that stat came from the Canadian Institute of the Canadian Intelligence Institute, and I can tell you that's why they do it. And our youth are very vulnerable because the predators come on as their friends, and they make them believe that they have fallen in love with them, or they can give them the world. They make promises to them that are unrealistic. And then after they give them gifts, after they take them to parties, after they give them a few drugs, then they say, now you have to pay me back. You owe me $300,000.
Wow.
And then they threaten the kids. They say, if you don't do this, I will tell your parents, I will tell your community, you will be disgraced. It's one of the most deceptive, horrible crimes in our country, and everybody has to work to stop it.
That's really very unfortunate, the statistics what you're pointing out. On the other hand, the manipulation which is going on with the advent of internet, now things have become much more easier as compared to before. So how is Joy Smith Foundation now, you are going across the country spreading this message through seminars, meeting people. So how can a common man be involved in this kind of project?
Number one, the common man or woman can find out how does human trafficking work, and I've just described it. And then they can talk to their families and their children. Just say, sometimes, you know, these people that seem to be your friends and give you all these gifts, beware. Because the predators don't want to meet the families. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they even convince the families they're good people. But that doesn't last very long. They need to be aware of who they know. They need to be aware of people who give them false promises and a lot of gifts. What is their motivation behind it? You know, and the perpetrators also try to separate them from their families, from their support systems. when the kids find somebody who's trying to badmouth their parents or
Right.
say bad things about their parents or bad things about their schools or whatever, and then give them promises that they will get married, they will have a life together, and then
Right.
give them gold chains and fancy dinners and a few drugs, something's wrong there.
So-
Because somebody who really loves someone
Right.
doesn't do that. They build the
Right.
family
Absolutely.
networks.
So those are the red tags one should be aware of.
Right.
You were recently in Surrey where you came here to celebrate the International Day
Yeah.
of the Girl Child on October the 11th, and then your presentation also was seen and the movie Sold was shown. When we
Yes.
talk about trafficking as such, we just think about the old concepts of trafficking, especially from the developing countries. Like what you're mentioning, our children are the target today. But what about the women? We also find the statistics against women are quite alarming. It's not just in the developing countries. Here also situation is not good. The abuse, the manipulation is still coming up in a big way. Though we claim ourselves to be civilized, but doesn't seem to be
No,
that we are
right.
learning from it.
Yeah.
With your experience, what would be your message? What needs to be done on those aspects?
You know, you ask such great questions, and for me, listening to a gentleman like yourself, asking those questions, that's what gives me hope that the world will change. You know, Girls Global Power, under Lucky Gale and Neve Gale, they have done such a great job because it talks about the dignity of women.
Right.
Women need to be respected as men need to be. They need to be honored. They need to be educated. They need to feel that they are an integral part not only of the family but of the global community.
Right.
And so we have to change our mindset in such a way that every single woman is given opportunity to get educated and given opportunity to be empowered. Because I think that the woman is the fabric of the family. My husband and
Absolutely.
I have 6 wonderful children, and they have done very well.
Right.
And it's because we just show them the love. Nothing is ever perfect
Right.
in a family's world. There's always challenges. That's what growing up is all about.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, what I really liked about the Global Girl Power and this organization is that they're starting the conversation. They're bringing it to the forefront, not
Right.
only for this community in Surrey, but for those all across the globe.
Very true.
It's a very, very important organization,
true.
and that's why I came out to support them.
Great. Family plays a great role, like you
Oh,
yourself
yes.
mentioned. But in today's world, that individualistic approach towards life, which is increasing, and that ego is creating a lot of issues in the families.
Yeah.
And the homogenized units which used to be there are falling apart.
Yes.
So, Joy, with your experience, having being a teacher, being a member of parliament, being a social activist now, trying to spread this message, what would you give advice to the parents, especially, like how they can play an important role in making this unit more stronger?
You know, when everything is going well in a family, it's a strong unit.
Right.
But there are times when it doesn't go so well. A child, because they're children,
Right.
make wrong decisions. There can be conflict between the parent and the child. My advice to parents is never let them go, because they do mature, they do grow up, and they do eventually see the value of the wisdom of their parents.
Right.
And you know, on the other side, there are some parents that are not so wise. There are some parents that do not always treat children fairly.
Right.
Every child should be treated fairly. Whether it's a girl or whether it's a boy, every child should be valued for who they are.
Right.
It's a gift from God, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And in the end, it will really pay off, because those children will stay within the family unit. Build the family unit. Talk to your children. Love them up. They're the greatest asset that parents have.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a pleasure talking to you. And if anybody wants to get more information about your foundation, where can they get it?
They can just go online to www.Joy Smith Foundation. It's very simple. Get onto that website, and if they want to contact me, or if they want to donate to the foundation or do anything they want, I get no money from the foundation at all.
Right.
It is something that I feel I'm called to do across this country. We've been very involved as a family, but we have helped a lot of people. We have
Wonderful.
helped a lot of families.
It was a pleasure talking to you, and we are proud of people like you who are trying to create awareness regarding these issues so that we become aware and we start taking stand on these issues. Thank you and best wishes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure having. Thank you. ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਉਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋਏ ਸਮਿਥ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਹਨ, ਜੋਏ ਸਮਿਥ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਇਹ ਚਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ। joysmithfoundation.com ਤੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੀ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸਾਡਾ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ, ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਾਰੀ ਲਿਓਰ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਗਲਤ ਰਾਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਤੁਰ ਪੈਂਦੇ ਨੇ। ਉਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੀ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਸਟੈਂਡ ਲੈਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਯੋਗਦਾਨ ਪਾ ਸਕੀਏ। ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਕੋਈ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਸਟਰੋਂਗ ਹੋਵੇ, ਪਰ ਜੇਕਰ ਬੱਚੇ ਗਲਤੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਮਾਂ ਪਿਓ ਵੀ ਗਲਤੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਐਜ਼ ਅ ਹੋਮੋਜੀਨੀਅਸ ਯੂਨਿਟ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਇਸ ਉੱਤੇ ਚਿੰਤਾ ਜ਼ਾਹਰ ਕਰੀਏ ਤੇ ਕੁਝ ਨਾ ਕੁਝ ਆਪਣਾ ਯੋਗਦਾਨ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪਾਈਏ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਇਹ ਸਮਾਜ ਮੰਗ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਖਰਾਬ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ ਔਰਤਾਂ ਦਾ ਅਬਿਊਜ਼ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਮਰਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਅਬਿਊਜ਼ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਲੜਕੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਨੂਪੂਲੇਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਰੋਕ ਪਾਈ ਜਾਏ। ਇਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਕੱਲਾ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ, ਪਰ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਜੋਏ ਸਮਿਥ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਨੇ ਲੀਡ ਲਈ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡਾ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਯੋਗਦਾਨ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪਾਈਏ।